Welcome back to the news at 10. The Department of Petroleum Resources has directed the Conoil depot at the Naval Dockyard to increase its daily truckouts to a minimum of 80 trucks to boost national supply. While the order is coming on the heels of a monitoring exercise conducted by the agency in Lagos, where it was discovered that Conoil had up to 25 million litres of PMS, which was not being dispensed. Other marketers have now been warned of dire consequences if they choose to hoard petroleum products. Our correspondent Olu Phillips reports.
The Yuletide is around the corner, and this is one scenario many would not want to see during festivities. Sadly, as it stands, the situation is not abating. There's been several assurances and directives coming from government quarters, but that has not effectively translated to improved supply. However, following a recent pronouncement by the Minister of State for Petroleum, Dr. Ibekachuku, on consequences for hoarding products, some stations have been punished for defaulting that order. This station had 2,700 litres of PMS but opted to hoard it. So when the Department of Petroleum Resources people came around, it dispensed all of the products to the public free of charge.
Selling free at the moment now. Who do I call now?
Well, if they are ordering the fuel, they shouldn't be doing that. To be sincere, they should keep their door open for people to come in and buy fuel.
So now that they did, you bought free?
Yes, I bought free. I got it free.
I was actually hunting for fuel, coming from VI, and I saw DPR people. I thought, okay, I guess they want to sell. So I was actually bringing out my wallet, and they told me, no, you are not buying. Put your wallet back in. That this is for free, and I filled my tank. So I guess this is a major warning to all those who are hoarding fuel and causing artificial scarcity that there is a new sheriff in town.
From what you have seen so far, they have product in this depot. It's just deliberate, they don't want to push out. So we are saying that they should push out all they have so they can now circulate and make wet both of the stations. Because I mean, it would be unfair for us to know that they have product in this facility, and for which I don't know the reasons, I don't know what the reasons are anyway. They refuse to push out to the public.
The exercise to checkmate infractions will continue. Meanwhile, the hope for improved supply really hangs on the dispensing date for the 413 billion naira payable to marketers. Until then, all the solutions may have to kick in, and quickly so. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
To security matters now, the Nigerian army has admitted that troops operating in Gudumbali and Kareto in northeast Borno State suffered a setback against Boko Haram insurgents during the week. However, the troops have regrouped to launch an offensive. The acting director, Army Public Relations, Colonel Sani Kukasheka Usman, also explains the situation is being brought under control. Throwing more light on the incident, Media Coordinator for Operation Lafia Dole, Colonel Tukuru Gusau, says although the unit suffered some casualties, the affected personnel sustained only minor injuries and not gunshot wounds. Now, the Nigeria Labour Congress has called on the federal government to increase the minimum wage of Nigerian workers. The president of the Workers' Union, Mr. Ayuba Waba, told a rally in Abuja that workers will mobilize to resist moves by some state governors to slash the present minimum wage of 18,000 naira. According to Mr. Waba, Nigerian workers can no longer cope with the current minimum wage, even as some state governors are complaining that they lack the resources to pay them. Let's move on to business news now. Here's Harriet Agbenyi.
You first. First Bank.
Welcome to Business News. The President will on Sunday, November 22nd, lead a four-man delegation to the third Gas Exporting Countries Forum holding in Tehran, the Iranian capital, on Monday, November 23rd. President Muhammadu Buhari and leaders of other member countries of the GECF are expected to review the current market outlook on gas. He will be accompanied by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Jeffrey Onyema, the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Dr. Ibe Kachuku, and the National Security Advisor, Major General Babagana Mungunu. The president is scheduled to hold bilateral talks with other participating heads of state on the sidelines of the summit, as well as meet with Nigerians resident in Iran. Nigeria and the other members currently account for 42% of global gas production and 62% of global trade in liquefied natural gas. The Central Bank of Nigeria has given 3 commercial banks until June next year to recapitalize after failing to hit a minimum capital adequacy ratio of 10%. The regulator's minimum rate is 15%. The Apex Bank did not name the lenders, but said they were from the group of 14 of Nigeria's biggest banks with licenses to operate as regional and national banks with capital bases of 10 billion and 25 billion naira respectively. Last week, the Apex Bank told commercial lenders to double provisions on performing loans to 2% to build adequate buffers against unexpected losses. With growing non-performing loans of 4.65%, some banks have been shoring up their balance sheets in preparation for adopting stricter international requirements that analysts say could erode capital ratios by between 100 and 400 basis points. Now, local investors are not the only ones keen on the outcome of the upcoming Monetary Policy Committee meeting scheduled to hold next week. Foreign investors, particularly those in Europe, also have their eyes on what the monetary pronouncement would be. DWTV Channels TV correspondent in Frankfurt Stock Exchange says majority expect rates to remain unchanged.
From the point of view of investors here in Europe are for things to remain largely unchanged, and if they change, they're possibly going to change for the better. We will start by, of course, seeing what the reaction of the U.S. Federal Reserve is going to be. Remember that investors here assume that we will see an interest rate hike in the United States in December, but that the period that those interest rates will be valid will be longer than usual. That means we will have a little bit of higher interest rates, but those interest rates will stay there for a longer time than usual, and that is something that in the end is interpreted as positive news because there has been a lot of uncertainty on what the Fed is going to do, and as it seems now the investors have a certainty on what's going to happen.
Well, the all-share index lost another 26 basis points today as it closed at 28,131.3, with sell-off seen in most sectors as only 10 stocks appreciated, while 21 depreciated in price. Here's Emana Amawe with a summary of the day's session.
Hello, let's see how the equities fared at the local bourse today. It's been a whole week of bloodletting at the Nigerian equities market as key indicators entered the week in negative territory. The all-share index ended Friday's session down 0.26% at 28,131.28 with a lower market capitalization of 9.67 trillion naira. Seplat was the day's heaviest loser with 3.43%. Okomo Oil and Owando follow with losses of 4.18% and 9.62% respectively. On the other hand, Nestle led the gainers list with a 0.86% increase. In its share price, it's followed by Access Bank and eTransact. Financial stocks continue to dominate the activity chart with Access Bank, Diamond Bank and FBN Holdings in the top 3 category. At the end of the day's session, volume came in at 142.61 million shares, valued at 1.05 billion naira in 2,528 deals. And those are the day's trading figures. I'm Emana Amawe.
Well, let's also see how some of those global markets we track here on the news are faring today. Mostly positive numbers across board there, but that's it on Business News for tonight. Ijama will be back in just a moment.
You first. First Bank.
Etisalat Nigeria says it's committed to providing the highest quality of service to its subscribers with the launch of its Customer Experience Center in Zaria, Kaduna State. According to the company's management, the state-of-the-art facility, which will be operated on a franchise arrangement, which they say would establish Etisalat's position as the most reliable network in Nigeria. The Chief Executive Officer of Etisalat Nigeria, Matthew Wilshire, further explained that the centre will ensure that customers' experience on the network is seamless and hassle-free.
The ancient city of Zaria comes alive with the opening of the Etisalat Franchise Center. Some residents gather at the Chudon-Wada area of the city to witness the event. And to kick off the ceremony, a traditional dance troupe entertains the gathering. According to the company management, this ceremony is aimed at increasing awareness for its franchise centers and to position the company as an innovative and fast-growing brand.
We are very proud sponsors of a special course at the Amando Bello University here, which is the first in Nigeria to sponsor students in a telecommunications master's degree, Nigerian students. So we believe in Zaria. We think that there is a wonderful town, city here.
The Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, represented by the Commissioner for Commerce and Industry, Shehu Balarabe, is grateful to Etisalat for siting this centre in Zaria, and he gives assurance of stronger collaboration between the state government and the telecom company.
This is by no means a big achievement, and I wish to also commend Etisalat for targeting Zaria for this launch, which for me is a very strategic decision in view of the importance of Zaria as a home to so many educational institutions where you find a large chunk of clearance.
That's not all. There are other reasons for siting this centre here.
The whole essence of bringing an experience center to Zaria is to make sure that services comes closer to the people. So in experience center, they will have the opportunity to experience what customer service is like from a Etisalat perspective.
Etisalat franchise center in Zaria is the first one nationally that Etisalat is rolling out. We're planning to bring services closer to the customers by increasing our footprint of experience centers and stores around the country. And Zaria happened to be one that was picked for us to be the first for that rollout.
In putting together this concept, the management of Etisalat says it intends to focus on creating a world-class environment that makes technology more approachable, fun and interactive for its customers.
Still ahead on the news at 10, FIFA announces June 24th, 2016 as date for Africa's final qualifying round for the 2018 World Cup in Russia. And that will be on sports. Please stay with us.